What's up, rock stars? Long time no see. Coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage DC Season 1, The Reunion Part 1. So the reunion went just like I figured it would. Reunion goes as the reunion goes. I mean, at this point, we used to them, right? And it's very much modeled after the Bravo Housewives reunions. Carlos definitely kept some of those elements in the way that he does things too. So at the beginning of the reunion, we see everybody getting to the location to get their hair, nails, clothes done, make sure that they look ready and presentable for this reunion. And Carlos goes and visits everybody just to see how everybody is, where everybody at with it. He goes to see Chris and Monique first, and Monique immediately says that she was surprised the way that Winter kind of portrayed their friendship, because her and Winter only contacted and talked to each other when it came to contracts or the show. So, the fact that she tried to make it seem like her and Winter and Monique were besties, Monique was perplexed by that. And I was just like, okay, no, we're going to unpack that when we get into the reunion. But was that all Winter's doing? Or was that also Monique who made it seem like I've been knowing her for 14 years and, I've never known this side of her? Well, if you only knew of the contract side and talking to her when it came to the show, then what you talking about? Okay, Monique made it seem like they were close. That's not something that Winter only did by herself. All right. So I kind of had the feeling that Monique was jumping ship. Okay. Which I figured she would do. And that Winter was going to 100% beat public enemy number one. We'll talk about that later. But I was just like, Monique, now y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. But that's kind of like how I was feeling. Anyway, Chris, are you excited about the reunion?
Well, that depends on what you ask me.
Okay, so we get a couple of laughs out of her. Out of Monique and Chris. Carlos goes to see Jamie and Arena. Some giggles there. Ashley and Quicksilver. Some giggles there. We go see Winter. Okay, and Winter was just like, well, according to the Twitter, we got some storms coming. And I was just like, see, this is why I don't be on Twitter and all that shit. I just watch the show, right? Y'all tell me everything that happens on the outside. But I was just like, damn, I thought everything was good at the end of the damn season. It was almost like we was going to be with Winter. Now, what is this? Okay. Now, we can't all just be happy and fun and friends at the reunion, I guess. But anyways, getting to the reunion. Okay, Carlos, the king of reality TV. He's hosting, of course. We're going to air it all out today. Okay, well, today and next Sunday. Carlos welcomed all the couples. And I thought generally everybody looked very nice. I thought the women all looked good, including Winter. The men, like I liked Chris's very traditional look. Okay. The Jamie and that, I realize that is definitely one of his styles, because I've seen him plenty of times with those them damn jackets on that got all of that. What the fuck is it called? Y'all know what it's called. Like, not embroidery, but it's just sort of like, it looks like a fucking comforter to me that y'all done fancied into a jacket. Kind of Hugh Hefner wear look. I was just like, not my style. But they still looked nice. Okay, it's just sort of like, And then Ashley looked beautiful. Quick looked like he was going to the club. I was just like, okay, so the men all had their own 3 different styles, but I thought the women all looked very nice. Now, let's start with Monique and Chris. Monique being a veteran of reality show, do you think that you were portrayed correctly on the show? And she was like, well, not really, but I get it. Okay, we've got to make the show entertaining. A lot of things are taken out of context, which is true, but she also realizes that when you say things and you put it out there, and now it's just sort of like, well, I did say these things, even though they removed all of the reasons why, she knows that it's the nature of the beast.
Then here come Chris, and and I was able to see my flaws, all these years that I've been doing stuff, and she's been telling me to change things. And then when I saw in the show, I was like, wow, I really need to change some things.
And I was just like, listen, I 100% am here for Chris and Monique. If they want to be married, you need to fight for it, right? I got all of that. I need somebody to tell me on the show Where was it that we saw Chris being so flawed? Now, he might remember the whole full context of it, the shit that we didn't see on camera. But I was just like, we never saw what Chris did. Okay, it was always just Monique complaining about it. So it was always the reaction, and that's why the people felt the way that they did for Monique. But now Chris is saying that he could see all his flaws, and I was just like, I mean, as far as we saw, you wouldn't really do nothing. Okay, not saying that he wasn't doing it, but we didn't see that. So I was just like, what? That's why it gets on, it gets on a lot of people's nerves that they think that Chris is henpecked, because he didn't got to the point where he believed in Monique shit. I'm just like, he was just like, I realized I dropped the ball and it was more that I can do. Now, Carlos was like, well, how do you feel about Monique? How do you feel about them saying on Twitter that, that you went on this show to set up for the divorce so that you can get all of the complaints out? Everybody knows why you getting this divorce. And then, we going to eventually hear that you guys are getting divorced. She's like, what? Who said that? I was just like, girl, you have heard that and you have seen it, because I've seen it in my comments. I've seen it on the Love and Marriage DC Instagram comments. I know that and Monique has been getting that kind of reaction even from when she was on Real Housewives of Potomac. Okay, so you've heard that. Even Ashley says she's heard that. But she says, no, that's not the thing. The thing is that people feel like anytime a black woman speaks up that they're being combative, that they're being disrespectful. It's just like, no, I should be able to express how I feel in my marriage. And if I'm not getting something, then I need to get it. Okay. Black men are so protected in that sense where everybody is just like, oh, you shouldn't talk to him. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. And she was just like, and nobody listens to a black woman until they start crying, until they're hurt. Okay. And then all of a sudden, but she's like, but I should be able to say how I feel. I shouldn't have to be, crying and shit for you to get it. And I mean, yes, to an extent, I definitely understand what Monique is saying. And a lot of that, what she's saying is true. The thing is the continuous complaints. Like I said, henpecking somebody. All right. Now, you done already said what it was. How about you give a nigga a chance to try to fix it instead of always complaining? Now, I'm trying to work on this. Now, you said this wrong. So I'm running over here. I'm fixing this. Now, you say that's wrong. This wrong over here still. I'm neglecting that to try to get to this. Now, you say that's wrong. So that is why people have a problem, because Monique continuously complains instead of giving the man some room to fix it. Yes, you are expressing yourself, but she was like, and she said, I could have probably delivered it differently. Yes, you could have. And maybe the show will help her do better with communicating how she feels,
But Chris was like, well, I saw what she said on the show, and I just decided to take the bull by the horns. And I was like, by season 2, I'm fixing to nip this in the bud,
He about to fix this shit. And DJ Quicksilver was just like, oh, we got a season 2? Because they don't have a season 2 either. And I saw in the comments yesterday, people were all saying how, they can't get into the show, and it's hard for a new show, especially when they come off of the heels of like, if it's a franchise and there was already extreme success with the first show, now they're trying to bring a new city and people aren't really open to it because for whatever reason, people just don't want to expand, so it's just like, oh, where's Huntsville? Where's Huntsville? First of all, y'all been fucking complaining about Huntsville too, but then once Huntsville's off, now you want Huntsville, you don't want DC. Damn it, deal with it. The show is good. I mean, it could be better, but it's a first fucking season. We gotta build this. So give them a chance. Let them at least get another season in there. I think that when they do get a second season, that they will be able to kind of bring more to it. But, they got to work with what they had. Winter was really it, So y'all just quit. Don't down the show. These shows need to be on to give these people these opportunities, right? So as of now, they don't have a season 2, but I think that they will get one. Now let's move over to Ashley and Quick. Now Quick has been a big time DJ for many, many years out there in DC. He's well known, well respected, obviously, has a lot of fans and people and all of that. All right. So he's used to being the star, but they're saying how Ashley has been kind of the breakout star on the show this season. And he gave an example of how he was out and he figured that, there were some women that was looking at him. He was like, not like that, not like that. He said, but the women was looking at him and they were like, are you Silva, DJ Quick? And he was like, yeah. And she was like, oh my God, that's Ashley's husband. And so Carlos was like, Ashley, does it feel good to have a spotlight on you? And she was just like, I mean, yeah, it feels good. She said, I mean, I don't feel like it's really the spotlight, but I think people are really fully getting to Ashley, you know, who I am, just Ashley. Now, as far as their marriage, you know, DJ Quicksilver still works to death. That is still an issue in their marriage. It was before the show. It's going to be after the show. This is what he does. This is his career. He's true to it 100%. So that's like always probably going to be an issue in their marriage. Has it been challenging for Quicksilver to be on the show? And he says yes, because I'm never vulnerable like this. Other than Ashley, I don't open myself up to people like that, even though it seemed like it was easy for him on the show. Okay, but you know, he said that he never cries in public. He's never cried, you know, he didn't cry at his parents' funeral and all that. And Ashley is like, it's not about crying, you know. And he says, well, he knows that now, but before he just, you know, he's just not as in tune to the emotions as Ashley is. And then Carlos was like, well, what are you doing for your son to make sure that he turns out to be, you know, because them as black men, they were raised to be like, man up and deal with it and don't be crying and, you know, all of that. But what are you doing to make sure that your son doesn't turn out like how we all was raised? And he was, you know, so he gives an example about how his son didn't make it on the basketball team. And I was thinking to myself, like, another rule on reality shows is don't talk about your kids unless you want people to talk about your kids. Okay, so I'm just thinking like this poor little boy, although I'm sure Quick didn't know it and Ashley didn't either, but it was just like the boy has his parents up there talking about when he was crying about the basketball team, and I was like, I could just see people having shit to say about that, you know. But anyway, Quick was just talking about how the boy was crying but didn't want to cry in front of him, and he hugged him and the little boy started crying, you know, and he felt like, oh my gosh, like he's comfortable enough to be able to cry around me, like that was a step in the right direction for them. Anyways, we talk about Ashley giving up a lot of her life, you know, for this marriage. They married at 21, which is too young. Okay, I can't even imagine my child at 21. She's 21 now. I can't even imagine that child getting married right now. All right, but she's not only married at 21, had kids. You know, she had friends that was in college and living a life and partying and going out, and she couldn't do that. And she fell into a depression, and she said she didn't even realize she was depressed until after, I guess, she had the second baby or something. And, you know, so she had to deal with that. But, you know, she was so busy raising Quick as another one of her child, you know, her kids. And, you know, she just, everything was for everybody else, nothing for Ashley. So you do get in that resentful mode, because I have been there and I've told you guys about it. Like, you get in this resentment, like it was just like, what the fuck about me? You know, and when you turn these corners in your marriage, you know, and your kids get older, and now it's just like, okay, I have more time now to do what I need to do. So I think that's why Ashley and Quick are in a better place, because it is now about her. Like, she's ready. She feels comfortable enough to be able to, you know, drop some of the other things that she was doing and just concentrate on her. Okay. Would you marry Quick again at 21? And she says, no, I wouldn't marry that young. All right. But she would marry him, definitely, but just not at 21. And Quick agrees. And now let's get to Jamie and Arena. So remember, I told you guys back when we first started on this show that Jamie was very quickly going to get the aggressive, abusive, controlling moniker. I knew it was coming, and it's there. Okay. And Carlos asked him about it. You know, are you controlling? He asked Irena, and she says, well, back when they were younger, he was controlling. Okay. But now that they're older, you know, of course, she speaks up more. I mean, that kind of happens, right? And so, no, he's not controlling her anymore. But back in the day, he did everything, finances and all that. He was like, okay, let's rewind it back. Now, the finances part, I was controlling that because she had fucked up her money, fucked up her credit, all these credit cards. I paid all her bills off. And, you know, and I did all of these things to create the person that she is today. I was just like, wrong word, Jamie. Even though Irena said, you know, she did feel that he created her, I was just like, yeah, I see what you guys are saying, but again, these are the kind of bits, the sound bits that make you seem like, because how you saying that this grown person is somebody you created? Don't say that. Okay, you can say I helped her realize that her finances was important and I needed to take over until she could do it herself. Okay, but creating this person, I was just like, yeah, here we go. So, but Jamie was just like, listen, I'm not a bad person. I just am who I am. This is how I was raised. This is just me. Okay, good, bad, or indifferent. This is what I am. We started talking about him being handsy. Remember the episode where he kind of grabbed Irena's face, and I knew that was going to be a problem. Okay, and she said no, he's never raised a hand to me. He was really just trying to get my attention. The whole thing looked bad. It looks worse on TV, and definitely looks the worst on a reality show. Okay, but he was like, she was so crunked up. She was so crunk about all of that, and she was just talking and talking. I was trying to get her attention. All right. But again, not a good look, because all you got when you're trying to get somebody's attention, you can yell or do something, but you can, touching them, that's starting to make people feel a certain way. Well, he says that he's never hit her. She says that she's never hit her. I don't think that he's ever hit her. But anyway, Carlos is trying to get to the bottom of the things that they're saying on Twitter. Why is it that you got so upset when Irena started to talk about him being unfaithful in their marriage in their earlier years? Well, you got to remember that Jamie and Irena have been together, they said 26 years. Okay, if she's 48, is that what she said? It's 48, so that would make her have been 22 when they first got married. And they were together apparently when they were in their teens. He was just like, the fact that she's talking about shit that happened when we were very, very young. Yeah, shit happens when you're in a young relationship and you trying to be together and, motherfuckers is cheating and all of that. Like, I guess things weren't as important to them then as it is today, So he was just like, I didn't want to talk about something that happened all of them years ago when we were young and dumb, and now she's talking about it. And of course, people are going to still think that that's how we are today. And that's not what it was. Okay. They bring up the fact that Irena, when she was caught, she had 3 separate conversations with these guys who wanted to fuck her. That's what Jamie said. And Jamie was just like, that was the darkest time in my life. He was like, because I was ready to kill some motherfuckers. I knew one of the guys. Okay. He was like, I was fully prepared to go to jail. It was inappropriate, all of the stuff that she was doing. And he was like, I don't never want to feel that way again. So why would I want to talk about it on the show? Which I 100% agree and I understand. But you sign up for a reality show. You have to know that these things are going to come out, So you have to do best with preparing your mind to deal with these things, and it only gets worse. So if you do get a season 2, you're gonna have to figure out how to navigate, Jamie, if you're watching. You have to figure out how to navigate these waters, because them reality show streets is they rough. And Love and Marriage has a fan base that is, because of the way Huntsville and the shit that happens there, their fan base, they are investigative, and they don't really see it that much for the men, and it'd be a whole lot. Okay, so you stepped into this, you're gonna have to do a little bit better with dealing with the fallout from the show. Okay, but anyway, I still got what Jamie was saying. So Carlos asked him, do you think that Irena painted a picture negatively of you, of being abusive or controlling or whatever? And he says, yeah, I do think that she did that. And she was like, how do I do that when I'm just saying what happened? Well, he's saying, because you bringing up this stuff that we really didn't need to talk about. Okay. And she was just like, yeah, but I was talking to those 3 guys as a reaction to what you was doing, which wasn't coming home, wasn't answering the phone, staying out, all of that. So, but again, this is all stuff that they've already been through, they've already resolved. And so, I can see how it would pick the scab, and make it bleed again. But we on a reality show. It comes with the territory. They talk about the argument that they had outside of the club, and I guess Jamie must have really cut the fool there. Okay. Because this is a big, this is like, they've talked about this so much that he must have really acted a fool. And Irena was upset that it was people out there that was watching. And he was just like, I didn't even know the people was out there, because he was so busy screaming and fussing. Okay. And Quick does tell him, like, you wrong. Like, you can't argue with your wife in front of all these people. Like, don't do that in public. But Jamie was just like, fuck, I ain't know what the hell was going on. Like, he was already irritated by shit that happened inside. And then he come out there and then she ain't doing what he said and all of that. And so that was the result. So, Jamie was just like, listen, we human. All right. Yes, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have yelled at her. I shouldn't have did that. All right. And I did apologize and we got past it. But am I going to always have to answer for this? Yes, you will. Yes. That's how the show goes. That's how the ball rolls, you guys. Yes, you can have a disagreement, Jamie, but people don't forget. And this particular bunch of viewers, they definitely don't forget. Lastly, you guys, Winter. Now, I will agree. Definitely Winter pushed the storyline of the show. Without Winter, we would have had to create something else to happen. Okay? And so that was fine. Winter came on as a relationship specialist. She said that that's what she was, and that was very much what the conversation was at the beginning part of the season. Now it seems that Winter has parlayed the relationship specialist into more of a spiritual life coach. All right. And anytime that people starts giving themselves these names and stuff, it raises an eyebrow. Now I know she has an MBA or whatever, but it's still, what makes you a specialist as a life spiritual coach? Okay. And I don't think that that's a question that is rude or anything, because I'm gonna need you to give me the reasons why I should trust you as this specialist. Okay. But on the show, I guess Winter was playing it in Twitter. Winter and Ashley must have been going back and forth on Twitter. And Ashley was like, you're a hypocrite because you told us that you're a relationship specialist, but now you mad at me that I asked you or questioned you about your qualifications to be said coach. And now you telling everybody I'm a mean girl. But how am I a mean girl when you said it out your damn mouth? Okay, well, Winter, it was more about the delivery for me. And Ashley was just like, it's nothing to do with the delivery. Okay? The delivery could have been way worse or way better. But the fact of the matter is, it still is, you said you're a relationship specialist. Now you want to tell everybody I'm mean for asking you about that? No, well, it was about the delivery for me. And I was just like, okay, Winter. Now, I don't know if Winter done got up in these Twitter streets and she's feeling herself and she done got popular and all of that, because she does have a fan base. People like Winter, and I did start to like Winter. Winter got on my nerves at the beginning, but I was starting to feel her because I was feeling like she was kind of getting railroaded a little bit on the show because of Monique. But then when we get to this reunion, I was just like, okay, Winter, what is it? Because now you starting to sound like a scam artist like your man. So Winter has explained that, yes, she did start as a relationship specialist, but she's kind of moved it on to now she's this other person. And Monique was like, well, that's the only person I knew her as a relationship. Monique, how did you know her? Contracts and telephone calls about the show, relationship specialist, or like, what is it? I don't know what to make of Monique and Winter's friendship. Anyway, let's talk about the gutter Barbies, right? Or should I say what Winter said, the pretty women who aim low. Raina and Ashley was like, why are we considered gutter Barbies? Because we confronted you about the things that you said about our husbands. And she was just like, well, you got up there and wanted to talk about the ex. Okay, let's talk about the ex. You talked about my husband. Okay, so the fact that you talked about my husband, I should be able to say, but your ex-husband had 2 babies on you. You wanted to reprimand me and go off on me and say, you're not going to talk about my husband. Okay, he is not here. That's what Winter was saying. My husband wasn't there. He couldn't defend himself. But, and that's the mother of, and that's the father of my kids. And Ashley was just like, well, then what the fuck is quick to me? That you just was talking about, calling them fun size and all that. Even though it wasn't curse word, it was still calling him out of his name. He is my children's father. Okay? Do you not see the reason why I might have felt the way that I did? I do like the fact that Ashley is able to really explain herself. She always makes things very clear, okay, of how she feels. That is a gift that not a lot of people have. So Ashley was just like, listen, girl, I know that it's rumors and it's assumptions out there. I mean, we live in this world and we know, Quick has been a DJ for a long time. Like, I know that happens. Monique was just like, yeah, and that was what was confusing to me, because she felt that Winter made it seem like Ashley and Arena jumped all over her at the lunch when they all went, and she said, you know, when her and Winter sat down and talked about it, first of all, she said her and Winter have never had that kind of conversation, okay, that they've never been like this. So, you know, for Winter to be telling her all of these things, you know, Monique thought that that's really what happened. I was just like, again, that's not how you guys made it seem on the show. I mean, but okay, I'm gonna stop beating a dead horse. So Carlos was like, so you feel like Winter relayed the message to you incorrectly? And Monique was like, yes, she did. She put 20 on 10. And, you know, and so Winter was just like, oh, well, see, when I was talking to you, no, I was just talking to you like girl to girl. I didn't think you was going to go back and tell them, even though they was going to find out on the show anyway. So, I mean, you know, at some point anyway. But Winter was just like, didn't know that Monique was like, I told you that I was going to go back and say it. All right. The problem that we have with Monique is the fact that she went back and told her the fun size comment after we had thought we had resolved it. So Monique still did keep the shit whipped up. So do you think that Winter was sensationalizing things? Monique says, yes, definitely. That, you know, she tells Carlos, yes, she did think that she was, you know, putting 20 on 10. Okay. So then Carlos asked Winter, like, why is it that you have so much to say about the husbands? Like, do you have proof? And she says, yes. And they were like, okay, well, then what's the proof? Well, I'm not going to do that. It's not my place to say. And see, that would have pissed me off, too. Not to the extent that Fun Size, I mean, Quick was mad over there. Call him. No, you call him, you know. Yeah. That was a bad look to me because, Winter, if you going to say it, bitch, say it all. All right? If you feel like you got this proof, and you know that it would have vindicated you. We don't give a fuck about how bad it looks or how messy it makes you look. You already messy by saying that you've heard this and that. So now put the shit on the table, especially if they asking you to do it. So they taking responsibility. Yes, tell me what you have heard. Then it boils down to maybe it's Winter's new boyfriend that told him, you know, Ashley was like, you tell that toothless motherfucker to keep my name out of, you know, out of his mouth. But Ashley and Quick is mad. Quick is, call that bitch, okay? And he was about to get into it with, Winter, and Chris was just like, okay, probably the best advice that Chris has ever given anybody on this show, okay? But Chris was like, let the women handle it. Okay, if Chris ain't learned anything in his years on Real Housewives of Potomac and now on this show, is that men do not need to get in the middle of no women's quarrel, okay? Because you gonna look like you one of these niggas that's arguing with women, and then it's gonna change it up. All right, so just shut up. That's what Chris wanted to say. He was just like, you feel me? And, you know, Quick had to bring it down and everything, but he still was like, call that bitch. Okay, I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about him. Call the bitch. And I was just like, bring it down, Quick. Okay, because we already see Winter for what she is. This shit is messy. She probably ain't got no damn proof. We need to see the damn proof. That's what the reunions is for. All right, lay the shit on the table. So the fact that you still saying, you know, and that might make you feel away, but I don't think it's my place to be telling. Well, you shouldn't have said nothing then. So they yelling. Carlos can't even really calm them down. That's how heated it got. And I guess on the next episode, I guess we're going to still try to get the information out of Winter. I mean, I think it's clear she's not going to say it because you don't really have any real. She said that she had text messages, receipts, and records. And it was just like, what do you mean? You know, well, you know, things that have happened and all that. I'm going to need you to say what it is, okay? Because they want to know, you talking about them. You continuously saying that they doing it, but yeah, that's not cool. So the men, Jamie and Quick are mad, and you know, Winter is just sort of over there like, oh well, all right. I mean, Winter's good for reality TV, definitely. And I know people are saying that they don't want her back on the show, but she needs to be on the show because she keeps this shit spinning, and she clearly is okay with being the villain. So you know. Even though I know on the next episode, she's going to say that if she knew that this was how bad it was going to get and all drama filled, she wouldn't have signed up for the show. Bullshit. Okay, a lie don't care who tell it. Because you know good and damn well how reality shows go. I don't give a damn if you ain't been on the show. Okay, so that's it. Anyway, what do you guys think about part 1? All right, you guys, let me get off of here. I'm going to try to get P-Valley edited and up, and then I'm going to the mall, and then you guys will get this one a little later on today. Sunday. All right, even though y'all won't get none of this until it's already up, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, you guys, make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm itsrox. The channel is itsrox. Everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.